Good day, everybody. I hope that you're well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 3 English lesson on irregular past tense. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English Language Arts, grade 3. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of irregular past tense. All right, so we are doing so chapter is irregular past tense. Our subject is English Language Arts. We're doing grade 3, and the lessons that we are focusing on under the chapter of irregular past tense is to form and to use irregular past tense. So in our previous lesson, we also identified irregular past tense and we formed irregular past tense. But for now, we're going to form and use irregular past tense 6 to 5. Right? So we're going to do 6 to 5. Right? All right. So when it comes to irregular past tense, so most of our verbs, right, are regular in the past tense. And when we say it is regular in the past tense, and then we mean that it follows rules, right? It follows a rule that when we make mention that we're doing something in the past, and then our verb ends with an ed or a d. So we add a d or we add an ed to our verb to get the regular past tense form of that verb, right? Or that word. No, don't worry, you are not late at all. So we either use a D or we add an ed, and that is to get the past tense form of the verb. That is a regular past tense. So whenever we just wanna, for example, say let's say if I say I in the present I jump, in the past I jumped, lunged, laughed, played. So it's like where you just add a D or you add an ed to get the past tense form of the verb, right? But now we also have some of the verbs that are irregular in the past tense, and the verbs that are irregular in the past tense, it means that they don't follow any rules, right? So they don't follow any rules, but instead, you're just gonna have to remember the past tense form of that verb. So there's no ed that you add. There's no d that you need to add. When it comes to the irregular past tense verb, you are just gonna have to remember the form of that past tense, right? Because the word changes. And if we look at an example, right, of where we say the puppy grew. So grew is the past tense, right? But now it says grew is the irregular past tense form of grow. The present tense form is grow. The puppy grow now. But in the past, the puppy grew, right? In the like now in the present, I begin to do something. In the past, I began, right? So if you look at these words, right, as you can see, the wording changes. We cannot say add an E and remove the O, because with a different word, it's going to be something different. And that is how it is with irregular past tense. You are just going to have to remember the past tense form of the verb, because there is no rules that we follow, right? If we look at this activity, right, it says we need to complete the sentence with the verb in the past tense. The verb in the past tense, it says I. Do we say I begin to dance to a song I like, or I began to dance to a song I like? What is the correct past tense or verb that we need to add within that sentence? We need to show the verb in the past tense. Do we say I begin to dance to a song I like, or I began to dance to a song I like? We need to choose the word in the past tense. And if we were to choose the correct Answer, yes, we would say that I began, well done, to dance to a song I like. So began is correct. So well done. All right. Let's look at another one. It says, Emma, the way to Maury's house. Do we say Emma knew the way, or do we say Emma know the way? We need to find the past tense verb or the verb in the past tense. So Emma, remember we need to find the past tense of the word. Yes, so we can say Emma knew the way to Mary's house. So knew, because you either have know or you have knew, right? Well done. The door just, do we say the door just blow open or the door just blew open? Do we say the door just blow open or the door blew open? What is the past tense? The word in the past tense. All right, and if we were to choose the correct answer, we can say that the door just blew open because blow is the present tense, blew is the past tense. So well done. Now let's go to our test where we are going to form and use irregular past tense. So we need to complete the sentence with the verb in the past tense. It says, the door just, do we say blew open or the door just blow open? Option one or option two? And if we were to choose the correct option, then yes, we will say the door just blew open because blew is the past tense form. So well done. All right. The next one says the show, do we say began before we got there or the show began before we got there? Option one began or option two begin. We need to choose the correct option. All right. And if we were to choose the correct option, then yes, we will choose option one and we say the show began before we got there. And began is correct. Sarah threw away her old mail, or Sarah throw away her old mail. Sarah threw away her old mail, or Sarah throw away her old mail. And if we choose the correct option, we will say Sarah threw away her old mail. So through option one is correct. Mimi ride the bus into town or Mimi rode the bus into town. Mimi ride the bus into town or Mimi rode the bus into town. So Mimi ride the bus into town or Mimi rode the bus. And yes, we will choose option two. Mimi rode the bus because rode is the past tense verb or form of that verb. So rode is correct. Now we're going to form and use irregular past tense set 3. Right here, we're just going to, since the answers is already given, we can say when I drove. You see, drive is the present tense form. So drive is the present tense form, and then drove is the past tense form. So when I drove to Danville last week, the highway was empty. And the same here, forget. So forget is the present tense of forgot, right? So we can say, I forgot to give the key to Mr. Norman. And then the last one, we say the Bulls won or win for the third year in a row. The win is the present tense form, and the past tense is won. The Bulls won for the third year in a row. And that is our past tense verbs. All right, now we're going to our test. All right, we need to complete the sentence with the verb in the past tense. It says, we dig the rocks out of our garden, or we dug the rocks out of the garden. Which one is correct? So we dig or we dug the rocks out of our garden. All right, and yes, if we choose the correct option, well done. Option 2 is correct. We dug. Dug is the past tense form of our verb dig. So we dug the rocks out of our garden. All right, the artist. Do we say the artist draw the nearby lake, or the artist drew the nearby lake? We need to choose the correct past tense verb. The artist draw the nearby lake, or the artist drew the nearby lake. So the artist drew. Yes, drew is the past tense form of that verb. So the artist drew the nearby lake. All right. The next one says the person who. Do we say the person who win or the person who won the contest got $100? We need to choose the correct option. The person who win, the person who won. All right. And we will then say the person who won, because won is in the past tense. So the person who won the contest got $100. So yes, correct. One is correct. So well done. All right, so we can say during the parade, do we say people ring bells or people rang bells? We need to find the verb in the past tense. All right, so we can say during the parade, people, do we say ring bells or rang bells? Do we say people ring bells or people rang bells? All right, so we can say that during the parade, people, we can say rang bells. And rang is correct because it shows the past tense of the word. The next one is mom. Do we say mom forget to buy milk at the store or mom forgot to buy milk at the store? Which one is correct? Forget or forgot? All right, so we can say mom forgot to buy milk at the store. Yes. Option two, forgot is correct. Let's say it's Arena. Do we say Arena drive or Arena drove? While Eric read the map. So Rena, do we say she drive while Eric read the map, or Rena drove while Eric read the map? And if we choose the correct one, we will say Rena drove while Eric read the map. Yes, so well done. Option two is correct. Drove is correct. All right, so we can say the little girl write her name, or the little girl wrote her name. All right, so if we were to choose the correct option, we will say the little girl wrote. Yes, well done. Wrote is correct. Her name. So well done. Option two, wrote is correct. The girl, do we say become happy when her friends walk in, or became happy when her friend walked in? Which one is correct? The girl become or became happy when her friend walks in. So the girl, do we say become happy or became happy when her friends walked in? All right, so we can say the girl. You remember we are talking about we making mention of it in the past tense. So we can say the girl became happy when her friends walked in. So became is correct. So well done. The next one says the Bulls won for the third year in a row, or the Bulls win for the third year in a row. So won or win. All right, so we can say that the Bulls, do we say won or win for the third year in a row? So the Bulls, do we say the Bulls won or the Bulls win for the third year in a row, we need to give the verb in the past tense. Won or win. All right, so we can say the Bulls, they won for the third year in a row. Well done. One is correct. All right. I think form and use irregular past tense set for. Okay, let us just finish it. And we don't have to still carry it on to the next lesson. Because if we're going to carry it on to the next lesson, we're going to have to go over irregular past tense again. All right. So we see that when it comes to regular and irregular persons, regular persons they follow rules like adding D or ED, and then with our irregular persons, there's no rule that we're gonna have to follow. You're gonna have to just remember the rules or remember um the past tense form of the verb because there is no rule that you can follow. All right. All right. So, yeah, if we look at this one, it says Stephen think in the present, but in the past he thought. So we can say Stephen think is something that you're doing now, right? So think is something that you're doing now. You're using your brain all the time. Oh, I need to think about something. I need to think about what I'm going to say. But in the past tense, we have thought. So we don't say I think about that or I think it about that. No, or thinks no. We say the word then now changes to thought. All right, so we will then say Stephen thought about what he wanted to do over the summer. So thought. So can you see how the word changes? No rule can be added to say follow this, follow that, because the word changes all the time. All right. All right. So when it comes to the last one, right? So when it comes to the last one, we're not going to still do one of the activities, but do you see how the wording changes from think to thought? right? If we buy something now, we bought something in the past, right? Which means that the word, it changes, right? When we show the past tense. And there is no rules that we can follow in order to get the past tense form of the irregular past tense. When it comes to the irregular past tense, you are going to have to either remember it because there's no rules that we follow, and instead, the past tense, just remember the past tense form of the verb. All right, so we can then say Stephen thought about what he wanted to do over the summer. So, not even think, he thought about what he wanted to do. So, can you see how the word changes from think, which is something you do now, to thought? And that is our correct answer. Right? All right. So, this is now the end of our lesson, grade threes, on irregular past tense. So Stephen thought about what he wanted to do this summer. All right. So think is something you're doing now. It's like you're constantly thinking about something. And in the past we say I thought. Right? All right. So this is now the end of our lesson. Grade three. Thank you very much for joining the class and for interacting. I really do appreciate that, and I really hope that you have a more broader understanding of what irregular past tense are. So, till next time, have a good weekend further. All right, so we can then say, so that is now the end of our lesson. So, thank you once again, grade three. Goodbye.